Alright guys, today we're going to look at how to set up the Spectrum Dx6i for the Blade 200 SRX. Now the Dx6i does not have a 3-position switch. The 200 SRX has 3 flight modes. So lots of people think this remote or transmitter will not work. They don't include the transmitter settings for this transmitter in the instruction manual, which I find odd because this is a very popular transmitter. Now it does work. Lots of people are freaking out thinking it doesn't, but it does. So let's go ahead and go through the settings here. First, pick your model and name your model. Once we're there, we're going to go to travel adjustment, and this is in acro mode as well. Make sure you're in acro mode, plane mode. Now in travel adjustment, we're going to go to gear. Now everything's at 100, it's how it should be, but in gear, you saw it was at 100 with the switch on the 0 position. It's going to be at negative 100 when we flip that switch to number 1 on the switch. Now it's going to show 100 down. We want to change that to 48. Click it. So now when we flip our switch, it's going to be 100 when it's back and 48 when it's pulled forward. Okay, the next thing we have to do is go into our flaps, and we want to set this to 100. And negative 100. Or, yeah, it should have a down arrow. I wonder, do I have to go the other way? I want a down arrow here. Kind of confused. Let me see 1 second here. Flaps up and land down. Okay. Just got to roll the slider the other way. Went the wrong way. So you want it to show the arrow up and the arrow down for 100 there. So get that set up. Oops, trying to get to list. Now we're going to go to mix 1, and I've already set this up, but you're going to, here, let me inhibit it, if I can get back to inhibit. I guess since I already started it, you're going to click on the button to select gear, and you're going to click act, and then you're going to select gear, and then over here you're going to have gear act, and then those are your settings that you're going to want in the mix 1. So pause the screen and get your mix 1 to look exactly like that. Once you've done that, there's one last thing we have to do, and that's just servo reversing. So we're going to get out of this menu and go down to setup list. It's at the bottom of the main menu, and then we can go in here, and model type is where you set up your acro. If you didn't do it, that's the standard or stock setting usually, so you probably don't even have to mess with that. Then we go to reversing, and as you see here, we just reverse the gear. That's it. And that is it, guys. That's all you have to do. Now if you want to set up low and high rates, you can do that. Dual rate. You can set up your dual rate switch, and you could set up dual rates. I don't use dual rates on this helicopter. I don't even think it's needed, so I'm not even going to suggest that, because in the beginner mode it's so slow, and then in the intermediate mode, I mean, you got the different modes. I don't think you need the dual rates, but if you want to set up dual rates, you just go into the dual rate settings and you can set that up on any switch you want. I'd suggest putting it on maybe the aileron dual rate switch, and just giving yourself dual rate of about 70 for the elevator and ailerons. And if you want a little dual rate on the rudder, you can do that too, but I wouldn't even really suggest that. So now what we're going to have here, how it's going to work, is when all your switches are forward here or backwards in the stock setup position, you're going to be in beginner mode. So you take off, you're in beginner mode. When you switch this gear to F1. Now you're going to be in intermediate mode. Leave that in F1, gear mode, F1 mode, and now when we go to the mix mode, switch this up, and now you're going to be in experienced mode. So there's your three modes: experienced mode, intermediate mode, beginner mode. So that's how you got your three switches now. Again, beginner, intermediate, both of these forward, experienced, intermediate, beginner. This is your panic switch, your flap. That's panic. That's not. That's just, normal, but that's your panic mode. And that's all there is to it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and happy flying.